Elimination time here in the Madhouse as NBC Sports presents to you live flag-to-flag coverage of the Lilly Diabetes 400 this afternoon. It is a rather blustery mid-October afternoon. There is sun. It is sunny compared to last week at Charlotte, where it was wet. There is sun, no threat of rain, but the temperature is in the mid-50s, which is very unusual for North Carolina at this time of year. After what seemed like a pretty brutal race last week at Charlotte that ended with a bit of a skirmish between the 78 and the 20 on the final lap of that race, that almost turned into a big brawl on pit road. We head to the Madhouse. Could there possibly be retribution between the 78 and the 20? Here's what Zach Speed had to say. Hey, Friday morning in practice. Do you see any retribution between the two? We're over it. Very professional way, just try not to worry about it. He talked to him Monday morning about what happened. Try to calm down. They actually had lunch at a nearby North Carolina restaurant Wednesday to kind of smooth things over. Now they both see this as water under the bridge. Anyways, tempers from Charlotte aside, let's take a look at this racetrack. It's a quarter mile long. It's a bull ring with 34 cars stacked on top of each other, so nobody gets too far ahead of anybody at any time at this place, especially during green flag runs, because this track gets congested fast. People will get moved. Yeah, everyone's going to want to fight for the bottom on the start. Could we possibly see a record number of cautions today? We'll find out in a few moments, but first, here's the starting grid. Row 1, we got the Sun Energy 1 Chevrolet and the Busch Beer Chevrolet. Row 2, we have the M&M's Toyota and the 75th anniversary of the Lilly Diabetes Ford. Beginning this afternoon from row 3, but there's another driver who's in the must-win category. Eric Gamer in the 78 Toyota and the Liftmaster Ford or Chevrolet. Starting from row 5, we have the Target Chevrolet and another must-win driver in the Mobil 1 Chevrolet. Starting this afternoon from row number 6, we have the Zestfully Clean Ford and the Eris Internet Toyota. Beginning from row 7, we have the FedEx Express, the Nature's Bakery Chevrolet, and the FedEx Express Toyota. Starting this afternoon from row 8, we have the only driver who has a win in the bag to move to the round of 8 in the Dow Chevrolet and the Auto Trader Ford. While we look through the rest of this field, let's see if we can mark up pole sitter Jacob too. Hey Jacob, this is Blunt. Calling back on the NBC Sports booth. You got us? Yeah, but it's a bull ring, and you are a must-win driver. What is your plan to get out? Plan to survive this race? Honestly, we have a pretty good car, and what we've learned at this track is if you start in the first 4 spots, you have a pretty good shot of winning. Especially in qualifying. But anyways, just with practice, especially when we get in traffic during the race, and believe me, lap traffic is going to be pretty congested during the afternoon, especially with any green flag stops that flag runs that potentially happen. So yeah, we're to keep our Synergy 1 out of Chevrolet out of trouble today. Hopefully be there at the end and finally get to the final, maybe get to the eliminator round with a win. We are the best on points right now. Jacob Tube is the best of the drivers below the cut line. He needs to have a great run today compared to Talladega and Charlotte, where he kind of backed himself in the hole. But compared to somebody like Brendan Little or KSC Cup Series, where they have to win or they're not going to move on, he's kind of got the better end of the stick when you really think about it. Him and 78 do. At least. Anyways, let's look at our 6 HD onboard cameras presented by LG TVs. Jacob Tube has the Sun Energy 1 on board. Blake Dillon has the Nature's Bakery on board. The 7 car has the Kroger Click List on board for this race. Chris Washer. Nate Sherman, who's starting from basically from shotgun due to a wreck in qualifying, is the Lowe's on board. Robert Smith is the Auto Trader on board. And Jonathan Morrison, aka the only driver that is safe from elimination, is got the Dow Chemicals on board. One of our toughest races all year, 25 laps around this quarter-mile bull ring. Expect a lot of bumping and grinding. What's the over-under? Cautions, fights, or do we see fuel strategy being a thing? Of who can stretch it the farthest? At a short track, you don't normally think about who can stretch it the furthest on fuel, but with this race today, it's 30 laps. With this race today, fuel could be a pretty stagnant possibility. But if we go 1 green, white checkered, 2 green, white checkers, or even 3, and with the overtime rule next year, we could have many green, white checkers, knowing how rough these races can get. Pace cars leaving the dive in the right-hand lane to pit road. The pace car is the Chevrolet Camaro RS. And the pace car is going around the track. Off of turn number 4. The field is in the hands of two chasers, Jacob Tube and Dylan Murway. What do you think we'll see in turn 1? In a sellout crowd here at the Madhouse. The elimination race 12 gets cut to 8. We are green on NBC. Amazing jump by the 24 of Jacob Tube. He's well clear of the chaos as they head down into turn number 1 and down into turn number 2. The bumping and banging has already begun. Trouble already. Cars around and piled up in turn 2. Big rack, bud, big rack. Looks like, see about 3, maybe 4 of them got together down in, one looked like the 43 got turned, and that just really messed everybody's momentum up. There are 2 chasers, Zach Speed and Nate Sherman. Both of them had to start at the back. Let's see where they're at in this. I don't think the pony had any damage. Well, we hope that's not the case. Looks like the 83 hit back on 55. Looks like the 33 got some damage. I don't see the damage on Nate Sherman. He got through that on the wreck unscathed. But Zach Speed, a lot of front end damage. Damage to the 20 car. Alright, boys, shake it off. We just couldn't see how tightly packed these starts are. There's going to be a lot of this today. We'll hopefully keep it clean this time. And for the second year in a row, the fall race does not complete a lap before the elimination race here does not complete a lap before a big wreck happened. Big crash happened. I don't know about the 20, but that looks like some pretty heavy duty damage right there. I'm not sure if they can run on pit road. The front end does look pretty smashed in. However, they are going to take that chance by going down pit road. However, with the 55 going behind the wall, that is confirmed he will go behind the wall to get. Looks like he punched the radiator. Jake Baishner's day is done. 2 corners in. Kind of stings, doesn't it? Lap counter is on lap 2. They have completed lap. 5 bonus points have gone to be 24. As we're going to line up here. With yet another restart in the works. Now, with one issue out of the way and one chase contender possibly in trouble, in some pretty major trouble on lap 1, cutoff that grid on the start previously showed the 24 below the line. And second from the bottom, 15 points back. He is currently 3 points away from possibly falling out of from not making it into the next round. But right now, we're only 2 laps in. We're going to get the green flag on lap 3. So we're 3 laps into a race. Anything can happen. But Zach's speed, he is pretty low. He lost a lap repairing damage. Anyways, we are back green. Pretty equal start between the 18 and the 24 that time. Mind the 18 Joshua Lindbatch, he is in the next round by virtue of points. He's the only driver right now that can currently say that. Keep in mind. See the 14 and the 5 hit a little bit of a moment off of turn 2 right here. Yeah, you see KFC Cup Series getting a little frustrated, possibly with the front bump with the 5 coming off turn 2. Gets into him. Oh, that is some pretty significant damage. That is a bit of a bumper nudge. And watch this. This was all on the restart. Caleb Hoffman comes by, takes both of them. Both of them, it looked like. Takes both of them and clear. You got a nice hefty battle for 4th going on. 3 cars getting mixed up in this. Caleb Hoffman just bull rushed the 17 out of the way. And Joshua Lindbatch has opened up a mindful gap over the 24. It looks like the 4 is going to try to get to the inside of Jacob Tube. We're already seeing our first reminiscent examples of lap traffic. And if you're watching the 17 battle, Kayla Hoffman went into turn 1. He went pretty dove bomb the corner on the 17, which, keep in mind, dive bomb is something you can do, as we got a nice hefty 3-wide battle on the backstretch between the 88, 3, and 21. Keep in mind, Alvin Alonso has to make these moves. Keep in mind, Paul Moon has to make these moves to keep his chase hopes alive, which it was beautiful. When he saw that opening coming off 2, he broke left, got in 3 a little bit, and 21, both of them bounced off the wall. And the top 6 are currently single file, with the first side-by-side currently being in 7th between a couple chase contenders. Alvin Alonso and Hunter Miller getting a little feisty, and Blake Dillon and Apollo Moon not happy with each other, as Blake Dillon just got turned going into turn 1. Keep in mind, he is in the grass. We do say green. There is a similar game procedure we use for road course races with local cautions and drivers getting on the track. We are going to use these drivers is sometimes applied here unless it is the driver's in a dangerous spot. And they can't get required, which is like Blake Dillon does, but just comes out right in front of the 18. And the 4 jams on the brakes. Everyone stacks up, and a lot of cars, and half the lead group ran into each other. And through all this, Derek Lewis has some pretty significant damage. Marty. The drivers that stack up there, when the 10 came back on the radio, Dylan Norrie immediately got on the radio, furious at his teammate for throwing back on the track like that. Here's what sparked communications between the two had to say. Watch it. There is a car stopped in the grass. There is a car stopped in turn 1. He is getting going. He's getting on. Watch it. Good job. Good heads up thinking there. Heads up thinking. Nice job. What's the 10 doing? Tried fucking killing us. Tried wrecking about 4 of us right there. That's bullshit. Well, his opinion on that mattered. And a few moments ago, Zug's Moon had this to say about the 48. 48's beating the back bumper off you. I swear if he does that again, he's gonna get parked. I don't give a shit if he's in the chase. Emotions run high here at Winston-Salem. We are 10 laps into today's race, and we are in this. These guys are in some dense lap traffic. The 18 has cut through a good majority of the field. See him get down the inside of 33 going into turn number 3 here. You see the inside 43. Come on. 43. Still there. A lot of aggressive contact already. In fact, not even the leader is safe from all this damage because he had to got damn near bounce off half the field. Now you got 2 lap cars here. Derek Lewis, even with a smashed front end, he's still running along pretty good in 4th. Already with people beating bumpers off. There's going to be a moment of impatience. As you see on here, look at in mid-pack at the rear bumper of the 22. I'm guessing between a battle with the 41. That's why his Zox Moon's bumper is loose. And you see the leader. So far, we have 1 car out of the race here in the Florida Diabetes 400. Today at Bowling Gray. That is the 55. A lot of bumping and grinding. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by the all-new Chevrolet Impala. With a small block 300 horsepower V8 engine, Chevy, American Revolution. By the Avenged Sevenfold album City of Evil. Listen to singles Seize the Day and Backcountry. Today as their CD is out now. And by Gran Turismo Sport. Out now for the PlayStation 4. Start your racing career today. Caution on the racetrack for debris. You guess it is off of the 22 of Zox Moon. Their bumper finally came off. And it was because the 41 basically ripped it off. In which almost led to this big moment down here in turn 1. Everybody is going slow through here to see the 41 just kind of get in there, jack him up to 22 pretty good. And then the bumper's hanging out. And at this point, it just falls off. It's the bumper falling off. However, Derek Lewis is going to finally come down pit road, get some repairs done. Not before having a bit of a discussion for running into the 10 crew on pit road. By the way, the 25 in Noah Spalding does get the free pass during this yellow. These 7 drivers are a lap down. The 6 and the 30 and the 20 elect to take the free pass. So we get to we're on lap 13 now. Everybody else is pitting, but there's a... Meanwhile, as the leaders come down, it's time to send to you, Marty. Josh Williambatch on the rear side. The car's perfect, boys. Let's see if we can get a couple rounds of wedge. wedge in here, possibly no tires, just some fuel. Since tires really aren't that big of a deal here at Bowen Gray, since we can run a set on them and really not wear them out. A lot of these guys are taking no tires. We're down to trouble pit road. My god. What can you make out in that? I saw a car get spun around back there. It looked like it's the 14 Cup Series. My goodness. Reportedly, his teammate spun him out. The 441. And look at the crew members of the 2 take some cover right here. 14 had a pretty decent, consistent day going. His stall was actually 2 stalls up. And actually right here, you see the 41 comes out. Back it up. Come on. Holy Jesus. Wow. Then you got cars stopping. Big time situation down here on pit road. Casey Cupstreet says, since this is his pit stall, they're going to let the stop continue. They're doing it backwards. The problem is they're going to be really behind when the restart comes. They're going to be in a really, really big hole. In fact, as cars were slowing down, the 41 has, surprisingly, there are a couple cars that we know of that did a really good job pitting their pit strategy, and that was the 21. That is the 18 taking no tires. In fact, 24 just went down for around a wedge. He came out first. They got the 78, the 18. 5 and the 17. The 4, 5, 17. Yeah, I think so. In fact, even though the 6 and 20, they got the free pass. In fact, the 20 is up in 10th right now. Peyton Beasley is not that far behind in 15th. After the interesting pit stop, to say the least. We could, if we were lucky, that is, see a big time wave of cautions on this restart. Well, past 2:43 o'clock here in East as we come down. See if we can do a scan off 43. Ready. Come on. All right, all good. All right, three wide. You're in the middle. The round goes to 18. Huge implications here. Joshua Lee match hard into the outside wall, retaining wall. Huge championship implications right here. We got a lot of damage, boys. How bad is it? Can we drive it back? I believe we can. We're gonna miss a lot of laps. Issues on a restart. The 5 went down into turn 1, hit the 17, who basically shot across the racetrack, slammed into the wall side first. He's trying to drive it act now. But it looks like that effort is very much futile. Not happy at all with the 5 of Hunter Miller, as the red flag has come out. Joshua Leanbatch out of the car, waiting for possibly an ambulance ride. Oh no. This doesn't look good. He's looking to go talk to somebody. He's walking. Okay, I'll be with you guys in a moment. Wonder who he's gonna go talk to. Is it a maroon car? With a big 5 on it? Alan, I believe you're right. That is a pretty heavy crash. In fact, another car actually got damage in this. Looked to me like maybe it looked like the replay. Pretty vicious hit. See, cars are stopping. If you look at the replay, 18-5. Oh. Every year at Bowman Gray Stadium, we always have some form of tempers, whether it be on the track. Heck, last year we witnessed a fight in the race. 2 guys got out of their cars after a wreck and literally started punching each other. By the way, we are in the midway stages of this race. Just so you know. We are working our 3rd caution that just turned into a red flag. If you just tuned in to us, let's take you through our Pepsi race week. A green flag fell on a crisp day here in mid-October at Bowman Gray. Temperatures just barely clipping 60 degrees. And the action was fast and furious since turn 2. Peyton Beasley got under Joseph Lombard, spun him around, caused a big jam session, damaged the 20 of Zach Speed. Zach Speed got the car repaired, lost a lap, lost another lap, took the free pass. He is back on the lead lap, actually, sitting right now in 10th as this red flag is coming out. A lot of bumping and grinding. Frustrations between the 88 and the 10 boiled over right here. When Apollo Moon spun the 10 enough to basically throw the car into the grass, comes back on, drives up in the lead traffic. The 42 doesn't stop. Bam! Right in the back of another car. In fact, the 42 is still running right now, and then later a caution would come out for debris off the 22 car. And just look at some of the damage footage we've seen on these cars. A lot of bumper pieces dragging, parts crushed in. And bad sight. Then, just a few moments ago, this intense moment on the restart. The 17 and the 5 going 3 wide, trying to go 3 wide. The 17 backs out. The 5 hits the 18, shoots him right at the track. Luckily, the Ford was able to gas it in time. Significant impact with the wall. In fact, that's why the race is currently in a stoppage. Right now, Josh Balloon matches out of the car. He later walked over to the 5 pit and was later pulled away. And by the way, Josh Balloon match has been told to he is walking to the medical care center. And is having this conversation with Dave Burns right now. Josh, can you take us through what happened on the restart? 5's an idiot. 17 was under him. 17 backed out. Luckily, it didn't cause a bigger wreck. But 5's a damn idiot. You have a pretty fast car today. How does this feel like your chase hopes? You're just digging for stories. Frustration and the disappointment mounts knowing that this season of the 18 is pretty much over. And look at the damage it did to that car, too. They're running this race. We're currently approaching 27 minutes. That was just to get the car off the racetrack. It hit the there's a wall over here in turn 1 that's a guardrail. And luckily it's wide enough between that, the pit exit, and the track. And the wall is unprotected, by the way. And great, the good thing it was side impact instead of, unfortunately it was side impact, but gratefully 18 was able to walk away with it, even again with all these safety enhancements done to these cars. You still slightly, once it hits like that, it actually supposedly broke the guardrail upon impact. When he hit it, came very close to rupturing the fuel cell. The fire was put out. In fact, here it is in real time. That's scary. When you saw the 18 hit, you could hear the bang. It was like a gunshot went off in the room. It was like a gunshot went off. So, yeah. Disappointing for the 18 team. Meanwhile, in fact, Saturday, we kick off the Eliminator 8, Texas Motor Speedway, a battle under the Western Lights. Texas Chevrolet Dealers Challenge. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern on NBC with the Discover Car Countdown to Green. And then 7:30 is the telecast of the Texas Chevrolet Dealers 500, presented by General Motors. Friday night, the only Friday night race in the chase. NASCAR IHOP Cup Series drivers head to Phoenix International Raceway for a duel. First time race is actually going to be on another Turner network, TBS. For the first time since 2000, you're going to see a NASCAR race on TBS due to the fact that we at TNT have another commitment to NBA due to the fact that they have an NBA game that fell on Friday night between the Clippers and the Lakers. So they have moved coverage of the Checker Auto Parts 500 presented by Haviland from TNT to TBS, right? TBS. Coverage of that race begins at 8:30 p.m. Eastern with the Discover Card Countdown to Green. Then you got Brighton with the Credit One Bank 355. Coverage begins at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on NBC. That is another Saturday race. Going to be a lot of bumping and grinding in that one. especially as that race is going to be deciding who competes in the championship 4. Joshua Leanbach had some pretty high hopes for this chase and this race, but contact with the 5 has unfortunately set that and it went downhill. In fact, the red flag has been lifted. In the meantime, Championship Sunday, and there's going to be a race, and we are going to be covering Speed Weeks next year, from the Budweiser Shootout all the way to the Daytona 500. Now here is where you're going to see drivers really push it. You're going to see guys really start to move each other. Guys really start to get antsy. In fact, the race has restarted. All right, after close to an hour and 13-minute red flag. We stopped this race just at 3:08 or 2:51 when the time of this wreck happened. In fact, it is almost 4 o'clock at this track, and that was a long delay, to say the least. So, in the meantime, with another car biting the dust, well, the figurative dust, what's going to be the next accident that we see? If we do even see an accident, too. Got to keep that in mind. Jacob, too, literally has been the other dominating force of this race, leading the early portion, but with the 18 taken out, he's in prime position to move. Basically, he's in prime position to move on. He does have a 6-point cushion over the final of the eliminated 4, which currently sits as 78, 16, 20, 88, and 14. Unless anything else were to happen to shake things up, we could probably see some major bumping and grinding. In fact, we are halfway through this race now. We're going to be restarting this race on lap number 17. Here we go. 14 to go. And we're back racing. Whoa, that was almost big right there. The 11 and the 13 shoving the 11 and the 3 dive bombing each other. That was almost big. And turn 2, another wreck. A lot of cars getting together. Now the caution comes out. Are there any chasers involved? The 88 got turned around back there in this accordion. The 3 is into the wall. Caution has come out. Again. But big time damage to a few cars. The 88 is one of them. Right front's punched in pretty good. The 11 as well. In fact, he's the one that dove the corner. And that's what set that off, I believe. That's what set this wreck off. No place for anybody in that scramble to go. Brendan Little even got a little bit of damage in this stack up as well, but Jonathan Morrison definitely at the worst end of that deal. His day, he brings it back to her. Oh yeah, that's got damage written all over it. He's done. So remember how we had another restart snafu because of somebody driving aggressively? Of a Gibbs car bouncing into another car? Well, we had one Gibbs car bounce into another car, which bounced into a third car, which later set off a whole chain of events that led to one car being hit in the wall. My puzzler is sore. Now we're going to be restarting this race at 11 laps of racing to go. This time, we are going to have the 11 restart out front with the 4 on the outside. Definitely not a decent, good restart pit stop for the 24. He has dropped all the way back to 5th. KFC Coaches is elected to actually take notes on ours. A couple guys who were caught in that skirmish stayed and took 4. They're going to be well in the belly of the whale here. A lot of 2-3 wide racing, which is unusual for Bowling Gray because around this time last year we had 6 yellows. We're just cleaning up 4, and we may possibly have 5. Five in a few moments. In fact, the 11, after dive bombing, basically he's the one that stayed out. So now you gotta see a lot of bumper. People putting bumpers to each other. We could possibly see some craziness on this restart, and it's gonna be wild going into turn 1. I can tell you that right now. I guarantee you the 19's gonna be doing a lot of blocking if he wants to keep that 24 behind him, and maybe the 11 help possibly get a move pretty past into the next round. Only time will tell. 9 laps to go. Oh, here at Bowling Gray Stadium. Caleb Hoffman way out of the groove. We are 4 wide out of 24. 24 car shoots right under the 2019. Bunches a lot of people up. They're itching a rack right now. Cars everywhere are piling in, bunching into each other. This, in theory, this would be a quick and easy 9 lapses. Well, in theory, at least. The 11 has made some significant moves. Is trying to move past that, keep that 24 pinch on the bottom. But so far, it's like no contest. Through to the lead, the 24 of Jacob 2. 8 laps of racing to go at Bowman Gray. Here comes the 5. There. Oh, there's a huge wreck. Oh, big crash. Contact right here. Multiple cars, the 5 car hard into the inside barrier, shooting up the track, and ooh. This. Major crash entering turn 3. And more piling up behind them. That we knew the 11 was going to do that. They've brought the red flag back out. There are a lot of cars needed to be cleaned up after that one. Red flag is out yet again. That is a huge wreck. Zarkspoon out of her car after a frustrating day. Other cars caught up in this. You see Brett and then Little just refiring the car. The 29, the 41. Looks like the 27 got a little bit of it, but not much. The 80, I don't know about the 88, but I think I saw the 88 stop. He's rolling through there now. 7 laps to go, and a lot of torn up race cars are caught up in this one. In fact, we're going to be going to red. You see, list of people caught up in this one. It's extensive. You see, there's about 8 cars. There's 8 cars. One of them is a chase contender, Brendan Little. He actually don't see much damage to the 16 in any way. So while we're waiting this one out, in the 5 is definitely done. He basically got turned into the wall, hit pretty hard, bounced across the track with no steering, smashed the wall again, then got pile drove by the 22. That is a hard hit right there. I tell you, actually, we're up in the wreck to about 10 cars with damage. 2 of them have light damage, the 56 and the 17. Then again, half of this field's been beat up. The entire field's literally been beat up, and all of them and a bunch of these cars in like the same wreck. That one. This 7 has a lot of air damage. In fact, there's a lot of what is essentially debris as the sun is setting over Bowen Gray. The 2 is also going to go behind the wall. His day is done. The 16 is actually going to keep his same position that he got jacked around in. That's what causing the follow-up incident. And a wreck that many people possibly could have seen is a big one straight out of Talladega that damaged 10 cars and took out 4 of them. Now we're going to see the most intense restart of the year. Nate Sherman, Eric Gamer, 11 in the 48. These drivers are very fierce in the towards each other in the Monster Energy Cup Series. What will be the result of a restart here? With cars beat up, it's basically just going to be a case of who's going to make it where. If there's going to be somebody making it, that is. Green flag. 1 didn't get a good restart. Art. Good as you can hope for right here. It's like the 24 gets right up next to 48. Sets his sights on the back bumper of the 11. I think the 1 may have shut off right here. Really come to the left to they are 3 wide. All the way through this field. 2, possibly 3, possibly 4 rows. As they Making their way down the backstretch. Almost 4 wide through 3 and 4. 24 and the 11 side by side. 2 laps to go. Oh, that does not look pretty. That does not look pretty. That is not a pretty sight. I think they were back down in turn 1. How are they still keeping this up? How are they still doing this? It won't be that way for much longer. As around goes the 6 and the 7. Caution is out. And others begin to pile. Caleb Hoffman and KFC Cup Series were one of the drivers to get turned around in this on the accordion. Grayson All-7 with a lot of front end damage. Horrible wheel spin. And then this. Peyton Beasley has dropped the window net. He is out of the car. A lot of suspension damage to that 6. Very frustrating way to end his day. A day that is now working into evening. And a 5-car scramble that essentially blocked the track. Anyways, we're going to go to overtime. I know, predictable at this place. 24 cars still running on the racetrack. 2 laps, if we can make it that far without an accident. Yeah, that is a big if, by the way. We can make it that far cleanly. One's leaking a whole lot of fluid back there. Might want to watch him for that. Okay, NASCAR, are we going to just let this moron leak fluid in front of us? Look at how beat up the 14 is, too. If you want to look at, war-torn short track machines, look at the back of how beat up this 14 is. Hit by the 1, spun around. In fact, the rear of the car is basically gone. Considering the 1 punched it in like a damn clock. Clock. Nobody fucking with that shit, right? Boy. Yeah, fat. Damn. Anyways, first attempt at a green white checkered. Here we go. And another incident. This time it is Hunter Rizzoni getting turned around. Do they throw the caution? Yes, they do. We go to a second overtime restart with the 6th caution of the flag day of the evening coming out here. DJ Harris, Matthew Powell, and Hunter Rizzoni all caught up in this one. Man, this race is... We told you, this race was surprisingly tame in the first half. A lot of aggressive side-by-side racing and short track bumping and grinding. Now you're just seeing wreck after wreck after wreck after wreck, which the only reason that we're kind of running late is because of Jonathan Wishard's Joshua Lean batch's hard crash that broke his fuel cell. So now we're down to 23 cars running. Previously, before halfway, we only had one car out of the race. Now, 10. 10 cars have been added to that list. Could we possibly add any more? Well, possibly 11 with the 9 because he's got a lot of damage. I can't see. Yeah, Raiders punched in. We're done. Another one. Another headline. With the overtime line, adding it to this race next year, I bet you they're going to do a 3 green white checkered rule just because it takes so freaking long with these restarts. Everybody getting all antsy. Second green white checkered attempt. Do we finally make it to the white? We do now. .300 cars swarming a Gibbs car. That's as good as you can hope for. To the lead off turn 2 goes the 24. Here at Bowman Gray. Oh, he's got a sizable big gap too. Through turns 3 and 4. If we see any more wrecking, the race is going to be over right here. As Jacob 2 finally sees the white flag here at Bowman Gray Stadium. Bring it on, bud. Keep it clean. After Charlotte and Talladega, 2 rough races in the opening parts of this chase, Jacob Tube has put on his statement in this race. Through turns 3 and 4, for one last time, Jacob Tube, in a come from behind win, comes off of turn 4, wins for the first time since Texas, and punches his ticket into the eliminator round of the chase here at Bowman Gray. Oh, trouble. After the checkered, Zach Speed. Nice job, boys. Thank you. Thank you for getting us a great car, Alan. It's all you, Will, man. You're buying tonight. Wow. A race that, to be fair, was pretty brutal. In fact, originally was supposed to be about 3.5 hours. With that delay, we are just... Well, the sun is almost completely set here at Bowman Gray with the lights coming on. Drivers that are officially part of the Eliminator 8 are yet 7 of them. These men finished in the top 8. Caleb Hoffman moved as the 20 spun. Zach Speed lost 2 positions in that deal. And unfortunately, Zach Speed does not move to the next round of the chase. Neither does KFC Cup Series the 14, Brendan Little in the 16, or Josh Williambatch in the 18. And when you want to think comebacks, especially in clutch situations like this, take a look at the NASCAR Monster Energy Series. Several instances, 2014, especially with this new playoff format, creating dramatic moments. 2014, the 4 of Kevin Harvick, in a must-win situation, goes out to Phoenix, makes a statement, wins, gets into the championship 4. Then at Homestead on late restart, he wins. In the clutch, that same guy, Kevin Harvick, in danger of being eliminated out of the first round, wins Dover in another dominating fashion. 2016. Jimmy Johnson, Final 4. Considered the underdog in a predominantly Toyota and Penske dominated year. Jimmy Johnson went out and made a statement on a late restart, passed Kyle Larson, sealed the deal, winning his 7th championship. Back in this series, too, in the clutch, many people wrote off Caleb Hoffman as a guy who would end his championship run last year in the round of 8. He went out and made a statement winning at Phoenix, which is a good track for him in this next round, after just barely squeaking by 1 point over the 20. By the way, the 14, the 16, and the 18 joined Zach Speed and not eliminate advancing to the next round. (2014, 16, and 18 are the 4 drivers that do not move on. In fact, the next round is predominantly night races. Texas, Saturday night. Phoenix, Friday night. Brighton has always been a race that starts in the day and typically usually ends at night. Again, here are the 4 that do not move on. Nate Zaxby was holding on to a 2-point margin. If he would have just got by the 48 and the 11, maybe crowded him from the wall, he would have moved on and actually knocked in 19 out. Actually, the 11 hit the 48, which hit the 20, which sent the 20 spinning into the grass and out of a championship spot. Here are your 8 men who are continuing their dreams of potentially hoisting the IHOP Cup Series Championship trophy, being one of the 4 that gets to fight for it at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Well, it's been a fun one. Been a fun race. Jonathan Morrison and Jacob to move to the round of 8. Who do you guys your pick for the final 4? is your final 4 pick, Wally? I honestly would say look at the 4 and the 19. Caleb Hoffman has never been a guy to go out and light the world on fire. He's been quietly consistent pretty much all year. He could be the one that goes out and surprises everybody with a win in this eliminator round. He's got Texas coming up. It's been a good track for him. Phoenix. But keep in mind, Texas next Saturday has also been Jacob Tube's tracks historically. So it could be a battle between the 19 and 24 who gets the first championship 4 spot. All this and more next Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern on NBC Sports. The Dickies 500 from Texas. First time an IOP Cup Series race will be held under the lights at Texas Motor Speedway. With the repaved surface, I guarantee you that's going to cause a lot of chaos. It's been fun from Bowman Gray, but until next time, congratulations to Jacob Tube in a clutch performance. He moves to the next round, locks his playoff spot in the round of 8. It's been a brutal race, but it was a fun race. Everybody was safe. So long from Winston-Salem.